Chess blockades, how to avoid trapped pieces. Have you ever felt like your pieces were stuck, unable to move? In chess, a blockade can trap your pieces and limit your options. Understanding how to avoid this situation is essential for a successful game. Let's break down some strategies that can help you keep your pieces mobile and avoid being trapped. First, maintaining piece mobility is key. Always ensure your pieces have escape squares. Avoid placing your own pawns in a way that blocks the natural movement of your knights and bishops. For instance, if you place a pawn on a square that restricts your bishop's diagonal, you might find that your piece is stuck with no way to escape. Next, controlling key squares and outposts can make a big difference. A strong blockade often involves controlling critical squares that your opponent needs for their pieces to advance. By occupying these squares with your own pieces, you can limit your opponent's movement. For example, if you have a rook controlling the escape squares of a knight, you can effectively trap that knight in a corner. Another important tactic is to use your pieces to stop passed pawns. Passed pawns can be a real threat, as they can promote to queens if left unchecked. Placing a knight or bishop directly in front of a passed pawn can stop it from advancing and force your opponent to rethink their strategy. This way, your pieces stay active and do not get trapped trying to deal with the pawn. It's also vital to avoid overextending your pieces. If you push your pieces too far forward without support, they can become vulnerable to blockades. Always ensure your pieces are backed up and have retreat squares. This will help you avoid situations where your pieces are trapped by your opponent's pawns or pieces. Proper development of your pieces in the opening and early middle game is essential. Avoid making premature pawn moves that block your bishops or knights. When your pieces develop harmoniously, they maintain flexibility and reduce the risk of being trapped later on. Stay alert for your opponent's attempts to create blockades. Recognizing when they are trying to restrict your piece mobility is crucial. If you see them trying to control key squares, act quickly to reposition your pieces or break their pawn structure to open lines. Finally, use tactical awareness to exploit blockades. Sometimes, creating blockades can force your opponent's pieces into passive positions. However, be careful not to fall victim to the same tactic. Use blockades to restrict enemy pawns and pieces while ensuring your own pieces remain as active. By managing your pawn structure, maintaining piece mobility, and controlling key squares, you can avoid having your pieces trapped during the middle game. Recognizing when a blockade is forming and responding with active piece placement will keep your game dynamic and engaging.